Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody. So now we have on our family coach, Sharon Lawton, who'll be giving some tips on how to get the little boys in our family to be open about how they feel. Welcome to the show, Sharon.
Hi, Chris.
So earlier we had on Ewood, who spoke about how difficult he found it to open up about his mental health. And also Audrey was discussing, you know, why sometimes men do find it difficult. And it does actually go back to childhood. So you're here now to help us to educate our viewers how we can get the little boys in our family to actually talk about their feelings and their mental health.
I think it's really interesting because the whole sort of question that you pose there sort of almost indicates the problem. Because why are we saying, how do we get little boys to talk? Because really we ought to be treating our boys and our girls the same. And I think really for me it sort of points back to our sort of not traditions, but sort of our ingrained values and beliefs about men and women, boys and girls. And you know, often, you know, I will see, even now actually, even though we think things are changing and they're not really changing that much, you know, I might see a parent with a little boy, a parent with a little girl, and maybe both of them will fall over. And the little girl will be swept up and it's like, oh, princess, let me kiss your leg better. That must really hurt. Oh, come on, baby, let's sort it out. Little boy has fallen over and it's, come on, stand up, be a brave soldier. You don't need to cry, it didn't hurt. And, you know, and we have to question ourselves, how can we say that those two knees that are bleeding hurts less for a little boy than it does for a little girl? So what we tend to be doing there really subliminally is almost teaching young girls that it's okay to cry, it's okay to show our feelings when we're hurt, and to ask for help and that type of thing. And we're subliminally saying, you know, we have to be brave, we have to be strong, we have to stuff down our feelings. And when I work with families and I work with young boys and also teenage boys as well, what I tend to find when it's when we're coaching around well-being and mental health and anxiety is that they still get the same feelings that girls do. It's just they haven't been taught, it hasn't been modelled to them, so it has to start at home. So if we're not modelling to our young people how to, you know, to our boys, how to verbalise feelings and emotions, because we're saying, actually, you know, sort of, you know, be a brave soldier and it didn't hurt, then what we're teaching them to do is to think, well, my feelings shouldn't be shown. I need to stuff them down and suppress them. And when we suppress our feelings, what we do then is when we feel them again, you know, we cover them up with others. And that's when we start to see anger and, you know, self-loathing and, you know, that type of thing. And it's all being layered on top of each other.
And then we see the problems in the future because that little boy that wasn't kind of allowed to express himself or talk about what he was feeling because the environment didn't allow him to do that. Then we have men later on not talking and even feeling suicidal because they aren't able to express themselves.
When I'm working with parents, you're absolutely spot on, and you know, I sort of make a little bit of a sort of a light-hearted sort of reference to it really, and we sort of talk about the whole sort of falling over and Gray's knee business, you know, saying, right, so we're teaching our boys to, you know, sort of stuff it down and everything, and then when they grow up and we marry them, we want them to be very open with their feelings and tell us how they feel. And of course, by then, you know,
what's that?
Exactly. So, you know, I can only imagine how confusing and tricky it must be for our young men and young boys sort of growing up. You know, they're getting mixed messages all of the time around feelings.
So definitely all starts at home. And you've actually brought some props in to show us something. Can you explain what they're for?
So I brought on a couple of things. And I think, you know, as I said, it starts from home and it's really important for us to model and talk about feelings and sort of express them. So one of the things that we can start to do is to expand an emotional vocabulary. So just sort of saying it looks as though you're feeling, it sounds as though you're feeling. So you're not telling someone how they feel, you're just sort of suggesting, and that helps to sort of helps to build that emotional literacy. Oh, I'm feeling those funny butterflies in my tummy. When that happens, Mummy says that it looks as though I'm feeling excited. I've got the same feeling, then I'm excited type of thing. But these are great for these little props here are great for families that are not used to talking about feelings.
Okay.
So for everybody to start, for children with additional needs, and particularly for boys, because boys like, in my experience, they like sort of tangible visual objects. So we can start to break feelings down into two sections, what I call warm, fuzzy feelings.
Yeah.
And we've got sort of something, it could be anything really, it could be a teddy bear or whatever, but something that, you know, sort of when we feel it, it feels warm and it feels fuzzy.
Yes, it does indeed. And very, yes, love it. Warm and fuzzy.
And then we can sort of talk about, okay, so what are the type of situations when you feel warm and fuzzy? So if you can think back to your own childhood, what might be some of the things that caused you to feel sort of warm and fuzzy inside?
Family around the table, spending time with granddad and grandma.
Yeah, maybe when you're wrapped up in a nice warm towel when you got out of a bath, or snuggling down into bed, you know, that type of thing. Yeah. So you can say, wow, it looks like you've got a big warm fuzzy feeling there, you know, so we can start to talk about feelings with that. And then this one is the opposite. So we can say cold, prickly feeling. So this is a spiky shell. So it feels cold and it feels prickly. And we can feel that inside sometimes, can't we? We feel prickly, we feel sort of cold inside. It's a great way of starting to demonstrate those sort of feelings. Whoa, looks like you've got a big cold prickly feeling, you know, so let's have a little talk about what we might do with that prickly feeling when it comes. So just different ways and of discussing and bringing up the whole emotional vocabulary and emotional literacy.
So important. Sharon, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you again soon.
Look forward to it.